Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Let's Look At with Zebu Nation. And today we're looking at a brand new game called Mordhau. This game was just fully released on April 29th, so it's been out for a little more than a week as I'm recording this video. And what is Mordhau? Well, it is, in the description of the game, it is a medieval action combat game. It is essentially like Call of Duty Deathmatch, or maybe Battlefront 2 if you're familiar with those kind of games. It's just that sort of deathmatch style game, except it's medieval combat. So you have swords and spears and armor and all that sort of stuff. So it's an interesting, it's not a new type of game, it's not a new genre, but maybe it's a little bit of a new twist on that genre. It really reminds me of a game, well, an early access game, Holdfast. If you saw my earlier video on that, where that was Napoleonic warfare, so like muskets and stuff like that, this is just taking it back, a few hundred years and taking it back to medieval times. So it has very much that Holdfast feel to it, but I think this game is, slightly more polished, and just the visceral combat of it makes it very unique and very interesting. So let's take a look at Mordhau. This is your opening screen. Now, there is a tutorial you can play. I would highly recommend playing the tutorial because it shows you like how to do the different moves with your character and your different weapons and things like that. So it's very important. But you can also just jump into the game and try to figure it out if you want to. I mean, you can just run around swinging a sword and just trying to kill people, that's fine. But there's also a little bit of an intricate combat mechanics that go on here. You have to learn how to parry and block and counter move and string together combos and stuff like that. So it's one of those, maybe it has a little bit of fighting game in it, in that it can be simple. You can just run around mashing buttons and smash people in the head, or you can, create your own fighting style and actually learn to have a little bit of nuance. Now, the other thing you can do is you can create your own characters. We'll go to the armory here, and you get a selection of gold to start out with. Especially if you do the tutorial, you'll get some gold to build your character. Now, everybody has the same point total, as you can see here on the top screen. Points. Everybody starts with, I believe, 18 points. Let's take a look at one of our guys here. Let's go Zebu the second. This is pretty much my favorite guy. He's got my favorite loadout. We're going to edit him in the armory. So you can see here the things that I've taken take away points. So we got 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 14, 16. So everybody gets 16 points. And some equipment that you buy is just cosmetic. Like, you see the chain around my neck and the scarf around my face and stuff like that. So that doesn't cost any points, but things that actually affect your gameplay will cost points. And you can balance your character out differently however you like, but nobody can have more than those 16 points. So nobody can be overpowered, and nobody can like pay to win or anything like that. And speaking of pay to win, as far as I've seen so far, there are no microtransactions in this game. I know this game was kickstarted. I wasn't part of the Kickstarter. I didn't pay attention to the Kickstarter at all, so I don't know if that's part of the ethos of the game, where they've said there's not going to be any microtransactions. But so far, all the currency in the game is in-game currency. It's all stuff that you earn on the battlefield or in the tutorials and stuff like that. Now, recently, they had some server problems when they started this because they had so many players. They had 500,000, at least 500,000 people bought the game in the first week. So they had some server issues, and because of that, they decided to compensate everybody who played that first week 10,000 gold, which is pretty nice. So again, the developers, TRITERNION Studios, they're doing everything right so far that I can tell. So here's my guy, Zebu the second, and you can go in and you can change the things that you have. So here's my armor selection, and we'll do a quick change here. So you can unlock things by buying them. with your in-game currency. And the way it is you can see on the right-hand side it says cosmetic here. So all of these things don't actually add anything. They don't add any armor value or any skills or anything like that. They're purely cosmetic. So you can just have a worker's vest and run around. You can even run around shirtless if you want to. I know a lot of people like to do that in games. Run around as the naked guy trying to kill people. But I don't like that. I kind of like armor. So we're going to add some light armor here. You can see on the right, you've got light, medium, and heavy armor. So heavy armor gives you level 3 protection, medium armor level 2 protection, and light armor gives you level 1. So maybe we'll go chainmail. How about that? We'll go chainmail, get some level 2 armor. Now, as you can see, that gave me a point back because before I had heavy armor, and that that was worth 3 points. So now this medium armor is only worth 2 points, so I get a point back. So I could spend that point elsewhere. For example, I could get a new helmet. So right now I have the Eisenhut, which I like the look of. It looks pretty cool, but it leaves my face open. It leaves my neck open first, because you can aim in this game. That's another thing. You can aim your sword swipes and spear stabs, and people can aim for my face and do a lot of damage to my face. So I need a new helmet. Let's go for a level 3 helmet that will give me some face protection. You got the Great Helm, the Templar. I could buy a new helmet because I've got quite a bit of gold. Is there any helmet here that looks pretty cool? Yeah, we'll go with the Salé Brevor. Costs 2,000 gold, yes. So there we go. I've got a new helmet. Gives me level 3 protection in my head. We're looking pretty good. Now for weapons, you can also customize your loadout for weapons the same way. You've got 3 different weapon slots: primary, secondary, and tertiary. So for me, I've got a short spear, a heater shield as my second weapon, and a short sword as my tertiary. So basically what happens is I run around the field with my spear, and then occasionally I throw it because it's a weapon that's dual purpose. Most weapons can be dual wielded in some way or another. For short spears, you dual wield it by either stabbing or throwing. So once I throw my short spear, then I can take out my short sword and I can still fight. And each of these costs points. You can see the short sword only costs 1 point, heater shield 2 points, short spear 4 points, and that's designated over here on the left. You can also see their point value. So there you go. That's my main character. You can see how the customization. You can also change the color of your items and change the texture and things like that. And it's all customizable with gold that you earn in-game. So it's very cool. All right, so now let's go and let's fight and let's see what this is all about. So you do have 3 different gameplay modes. I'll be honest with you, I haven't played Horde or Battle Royal mode yet, so we'll take those off. So I can't really review those as of yet. I've only ever played Frontline, and Frontline is the team deathmatch basically mode is what it is. There are objectives that you have to go and achieve. Your team has to push forward, take spawn points, take key objectives, knock down towers and things like that. So it has a bunch of different objectives on the battlefield. But if you don't want to pay attention to those and you don't want to be a team player, you can just run around and kill people, which to me is kind of the good thing and the bad thing about this game, is that you will have people who just run around and do goofy stuff and don't really play the game. But there are some people who will take it a little bit seriously and try to push for objectives. So each game has 2 teams, red and blue, Iron Company and the Free Guard. I usually take blue just so I remember kill the red guys, and there's nothing to worry about there. Now the other thing that they have, if you don't want to go and create your own characters and do your own thing, they have pre-generated characters. Each sort of shows off a different fighting style and a different build. So if you want to try out an archer, you can just take one right here. A knight with a big sword, raider with an axe, veteran, footman with a spear, scoundrel. He's got like traps and fire bombs and stuff. An engineer, he can build things. He's got a lute so he can play songs. And then you've got, you know, your own customizable characters. I'm not sure how many of these you can have. I've seen people with 10 or more, so you can have a ton of these customizable characters. You know, if you don't like any of these builds up here, you can just build your own guy. So we'll go with our guy, Zebu the Second, and we'll start our match. So we choose a spawn point here. You can see our guys are already pushing forward. They've already pushed out to this spawn point, so we'll go. There we go. So we're going to look for red guys to kill and blue guys to help. So there we go. There's a bunch of blue guys running forward. Follow them. There's horses. There's ballistas. There's all kinds of stuff. Let's run over here. You see that guy lost an arm. He's running away. And then he died. So that's another perk you can get. And here's a guy who likes to mess around. And we got him. Ow. It's probably not best to fight with a spear. I should have switched to my other weapon. I was like inside of a house. That guy picked up a loot. So you can also switch weapons in the middle of games. Here's a spawn point. We'll go back, and it's just that quick. You die, and you come back. You die, and you come back. You can see the combat is pretty frantic. It's actually pretty difficult to So I threw my spear there. Now I can take out my short sword, fight. You can see I parried that guy. He tried to do the same to me. You know, you can kick like I just did there. It's just frantic combat. I'm missing quite a bit because I have a short weapon. That's the drawback of the short weapon. I sort of misjudged my timing there. But you can see just the combat gets frantic, and I might have to edit this and, you know, throw in a bunch of different fights and deaths because this could take a while. We'll spawn back and we'll just keep going. Now in this map, you can see the little hands up there. Those are like peasants that you have to try and free from enemy capture. You know, on top of getting the spawn points and all that stuff, securing the different spawn points, you also can sometimes have little objectives like that. Too many red guys out there. You know, one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to just... I just threw my spear at that guy, but he was already dead. And see, you charge in, you get double teamed like that. You get killed, but that's okay. You can just come right back. Here we go. Okay, so that's Mordheim, or at least a brief look at it. You can see the combat is sort of fast and frenetic and hectic. You get into a match and you just go and you play and you play and you play, and it gets a little addictive. Now, it's not a game that I'm going to be recording very often for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's pretty hard to narrate while you play this game because the combat is so frenetic, and you have to really focus on what you're doing. At least I do right now at this stage of the game. You know, I'm still learning the moves and learning how to fight and all that stuff. So it's a little difficult to talk and play this game at the same time. And the other thing that's wrong with it right now is that it doesn't play very well with XSplit. Because it's such a new game, a lot of times XSplit takes a little while to learn new games and how they play. And every so often while I'm playing this game, XSplit will just like exit. It'll just like jump out to the main menu and leave me frozen in the game, so that like I'll have to try to get rid of the XSplit screen real quick. And in this type of game, that just means instant death, because your guy will stop moving, stop fighting, and the other guy will just murder you as you stand there. So I probably won't be showing you a ton more of this game, but it is an interesting game. It is fun, and if this type of combat looks at all interesting to you, I would say give it a shot, because you know, this company seems to be doing things right. They seem to be making this game the right way, and you want to support that kind of thing, but also it's just really fun. Like, I can't stress that enough. It looks daunting maybe, but it only took me like 3 or 4 hours of gameplay to really, you know, find a combat style that works for me. I like the shield and the spear. And, you know, I'm not the best at it or anything like that, but I can at least hold my own in a fight. I can get a few kills and have a good time. So, there you go. There's Mordheim. Check it out. I definitely recommend it. But that's it. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.